do you do when life falls apart? When everything you built starts breaking? Do you quit or do you rebuild?
Yeah, man. Winstone Chronicles, Tiki Bar family. Tonight we talk real, but we rise stronger. Yeah. Still standing, even when the world shakes. Heart heavy, but me never break. One step, one prayer, one move we make. We rise again for our own sake. Still standing through the storm and rain. Turn every loss into strength and gain. From the struggle we grow, we change. Tiki Bar family, we don't stay the same. Some days rough, yeah, the pressure real. Silent battle nobody can feel. Smile on face, but the heart need heal. Still we push, cause we know the deal. Things fall down, yeah, plans get twist. Dream feel far like a distant wish. But deep inside there's a fighting spirit. Voice say don't quit, you're still in this. Every setback, not the end of your story. Every breakdown, just a setup for glory. Even when life feel dark and cloudy, you got strength, stand tall and proudly. Still standing, even when the world shakes. Heart heavy, but me never break. One step, one prayer, one move we make. Still standing, even when the world shakes. Heart heavy, but me never break. One step, one prayer, one move we make. From the rebuild to the comeback glow. From the low point to the fire flow. From the doubt to I told you so. That's the journey that we all know. One break, one step, one day at a time. Rewriting pain into purpose and rhyme. From the struggle, now the blessings align. You're still here, so your life still shine. If you're breathing right now, say I'm here. If you're fighting through it, say no fear. If you're lost, but you still persevere, this your moment, let it be clear. Still standing, yeah, yeah, we stronger now. Turn every setback into power now. From the ground we rise in tower now. No quitting, no surrender now. Still standing, yeah, we built to last. Pain made strong, yeah, we built from past. From the fire we rise up fast. Tiki Bar family, we unstoppable at last. Yeah. Oh. No matter what you're going through, still here, and that means you still got more to do. Windstone, Tiki Bar, still standing.
Woo. Welcome to the Tiki Bar. I want to say, welcome in to the Tiki Bar. What's going on, family? Happy Saturday. Hope everybody's doing well. Some of y'all might not have caught that song. I'm gonna play it again later on in the live. But welcome in to the Tiki Bar. Saturday, as we do it, 6 p.m. Oh, it's a Nawanga belly. Yeah, man. So, welcome to the Tiki Bar. As we say all the time, if you haven't been to the Tiki Bar before, we're going to go over the ground rules. All right? So, you already know. In order to get to the bar, make sure you tap up the like button, and that will get security, will get you your ticket in. All right? And once you're in, you can come up to the bar. Now, we always have a spirited discussion. All we ask is that you be respectful of each other's opinion, because we don't have to agree, but we can see where each other or each side thinks. Okay, so it's about respect more than anything else. And at any given time, anyone can step up to the bar, as we call it, or join the conversation live. All you gotta do is click the link that's pinned in the chat, and if it's pinned in the chat, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up, so I know that the chat is pinned up top. So let me know right away if it's pinned, and we will continue on with our introduction to the Tiki Bar. And I might have to do it again because I just had the ninja raid and look at the plane land safely. All right. So, flight skills. I see you, Reds. Yeah, so blessings to each and everyone in the building. I see Tim said the pin is here. I got 2 different live streams going. So I got the short, the vertical and the horizontal going. There should be a pin on each one. Okay. So first things first, let me start. Welcome everybody to the bar. If you see me looking to the right, that means I got another computer over here so I can keep up with the chat. At some point, Lynn will join me, but you know, we have to acknowledge who's in the building as well. So I got the Moose himself in the building. Peaceful Days, welcome in. Tim Mitchell in the building. Who else we got? Because we know the raid carry out a lot of people. Blue Lotus in the building from the Ninja Raid. Of course, my brother Reds in here as well. Work on live, play live. Blessings. Yoga. Goga in the building. All right. I got the pork boss himself, Mr. Trini in Finland. Who else we got in the building? I'm going down the list here. Hub Interactive is in the building. Blessed Life Journey. Blessings Journey. Who else? Let me scroll down here. I don't want to miss nobody. I got Crossdale. Yeah, in the Ninja Raid. Landed safely on the flight. All right. Who else we got? Look, if I miss your name, I know there's a lot of people that haven't showed up yet. That's popping up in the chat yet. But as I say, I see Devil Dogs in the building. Blessings. I got Jerry Butler in the building. Bless up yourself, Jerry. All right. So like I said, I got Jamie in the building, Devil Dogs Keeper. All right. So the place is full tonight. I got multiple devices that I'm working on. And like I said, I am going to make sure you guys can connect with each other. This is the whole point of it, right? Is to make sure that we can all connect. The community is continuously building, and that's what we are, is a community, right? We take care of each other, we help each other, we support each other, you know, we give love to each other, and that's how we do it. That's how we run the community. So if you're new, if you see somebody in the community that's new to you, you know, make sure so you connect with them, and I will make sure that you are able to connect with them. Go over to their channel, check them out, and welcome them to the community. So let me do that first, you know, do the what you call it, the housekeeping first, you know. I make sure I say everybody is good to go. Okay, good to go. All right, family. So here's here's what's going on tonight on the Tiki Bar. It's been a crazy couple weeks, and it's kind of crazy that I put this topic up, not specifically to deal with YouTube, but life in general. All right, this is to deal with life in general. So here's the deal. All right, tonight we're gonna have a real conversation, right? You know, we always have fun anyway, but it's not just a surface conversation, but a real one. So as you come in, and you can see I'm checking, making sure I'm not missing the chat. I got Desert Living in the building. Bless up yourself. So as you come in, do me a favor. Let me know where you're watching from. Hit that like button and share out the stream. All right, so other people can, you know, might need this conversation tonight. You never know, you know. If you're catching the replay on this, and this is for the people that aren't here live, you know, I still want your comment. You know, that what keeps you going when things fall apart. You know, so we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about rebuilding. We're gonna talk about pressure. We're gonna talk about pain. You know, we're gonna talk about purpose, and we also gonna talk about things that keep us moving when life does not go according to plan. You know, because you know, Jamaicans, we have a saying: when man a plan, God a wipe out. You know, so in essence, that means that while you're planning, you know, in the military, or in law enforcement and the military, we call it Murphy. Murphy have planned something completely different for you. All right. So pull up a chair. Yeah, man, grab something to sip on. Let's start this Tiki Bar chat. All right. So as I said before, the chat is pinned, or the link is pinned in the chat, so anyone can come up on the at the Tiki Bar at any time. Step up to the bar, join the conversation. I also want you guys to um, join the or communicate in the chat as well, and I will make sure I'm trying to, you know, keep up with the chat. At some point, Lynn's gonna join me, and she'll be helping me with that. Watch Queen, blessings and welcome, my sister. Let me go ahead and get you squared away here. Get you your armband. All right. So if everybody got their blue armband, that means you are effectively at the bar and you're ready to go. So you can get to join in this conversation. All right. So here's the deal. We are asking the question. It's right there in scrolling across the screen. What keeps you going when things fall apart? You know, I want to talk about this tonight because it's a real topic. A lot of people see the wins, a lot of people see the finished products of stuff, a lot of people see the smiles, the food, the catches, the content, the lights, the energy, but they don't always see what had to be rebuilt. They don't always see the frustration, they don't always see the setbacks, they don't always see the moments when you sit there and ask yourself, do I feel like doing this anymore? You know? I mean, and the truth is, life have a way of shaking things up. Sometimes it's your plans, sometimes it's your peace, sometimes it's your finances, sometimes it's your health, sometimes it's relationships, sometimes it's your confidence. We talked about that last week on our previous live chat, public speaking and building your confidence. Um, Sometimes it's something you built with your own hands and suddenly it's damaged, delayed, or disrupted. And at the end of the day, when that happens, the real question becomes, what keeps you going? Let me see who else is in the building. Uh, okay, I don't see any new faces yet. But yeah, the question is, what keeps you going? You know, for me, this topic kind of hit home because, as you guys can tell, like during the winter, I just had to rebuild my own tiki bar, right? Still in the process of getting everything finalized with the tiki bar, but tiki bar was going well, and it was kind of funny. If you guys haven't seen the video, you can go back and watch it. But no pork, Trini. There's more than enough pork. Pork off for tomorrow. Trini, that easy. You don't have enough pork in Finland. People, Trini, always asking about the pork. But anyway, if you haven't seen the video, I actually dropped the video during the winter time where my tiki bar collapsed. And the funny part about it was that I was a couple minutes before, probably about 15, 20 minutes before, I had just come outside, check on the tiki, just check the area in general. And I was like, yeah, the tiki bar is still standing, good to go. And then 15 minutes later, boom, the whole thing collapsed, you know. And so I come in, I had to basically, the TVs that I bought, everything that I had for this tiki bar was completely damaged. I had 3 TVs, all of that was destroyed. So I had to basically, the entire tiki bar was destroyed, except for the bar itself. So the bar was still good, but the entire gazebo that's over the tiki bar was completely destroyed. And I could have easily said, you know what, I'm not even going to rebuild this thing. It's a waste of time. But I realized that that would have just been me giving up. I see Chef Civi in the building. Bless up yourself. Bless up yourself. Um, yeah, it would have been easy for me to give up. But I realized that this is part of my fun, my entertainment. And I'm bringing it to you guys as well. I don't know how much you enjoy it, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the company that you guys give me on a Saturday. So I figure, you know what, I'm gonna rebuild the tiki bar. So I decided to, hey, it's not gonna keep me down. It was kind of disappointing at first, like, man, I just finished this thing, it's good to go. And next thing you know, boom, is there. So I ended up rebuilding, and full disclosure, I am an optimist, right? And I think mindset has a lot to do with it. I'm an optimist. I always see the glasses half full. So no matter the situation, I look at it different. For some people, it's a lot different. Some people build on the stress and continue to build on the stress and are worried about the things. Um, but for me, I have this philosophy that I don't worry about things that's beyond my control. And if it's within my control, then I don't need to worry about it, right? Because I know how to find a solution for it. So that's just my philosophy. It represents a vision. It's not, it wasn't just a project. It's part of my vision of my YouTube community and keeping that tiki bar. Plus, like I said, I entertain guests. So when my friends and family come in to visit, you know, they actually get to hang out at the tiki bar live and eat some food, full jar themselves. It go already. Yeah. So um I'm still waiting to see who I got. Fluffy Diva in the building. Who else is here? Now the chats are just starting to populate on my iPad here. I can see them over on the other side, and now everything is kind of like up to date. All right. So before I continue on, since nobody's up here yet, I wanted to acknowledge a couple of people that I'm always trying to help out people and so forth, right? Oh, here we go. Hold on. First victim, the president himself, Mr. Goga.
I, I'm not a victim. Can you withdraw your statement?
Well, after we get these receipts, you will be. Mr.
Let me
President,
get
what's
my
going
glasses.
on? Okay, no, go ahead. I'm just gonna make some acknowledgments real quick. So, I'm always trying to help people and sending out stuff and doing community stuff, and you know, it's different when you get something that's unexpected from someone. So I've had some of my subscribers and viewers send me some stuff, which is very, for me, important because it's the little things that matter, right? So, Mr. The Moose Barbecue sent me a couple of trinkets here for my tiki bar. So this is a coaster. This thing is legit. It's leather. It's got my logo and everything in it.
Oh
You know.
wow, nice.
So yeah, it's nice, and it's a set. It's like 6 to 8 of them that comes in the set. They also sent me another one right here. This one is another coaster. This one's like it's like a stone, right? Perfect for Windstone, right? So I got these. So the Moose, thank you very much. He also sent me like bar napkins. I got a coffee mug. So I just wanted to give the Moose a big shout out for that because it feels great to get something from a subscriber that, especially that you're not expecting. And by the way, the Moose is the one that makes you guys are fearing the Banana Man now. By the way, he sent this to me because he knew I didn't like the banana on Chef Civi's channel. So apparently, I'm not the only torture boss out there. The Moose decided he was going to torture me with a gift that was unexpected. But the Moose, I appreciate all the gifts that you've sent. So thank you very much. So moving on, Mr. Goga himself.
I came
What's going on, brother?
when I came up because I was tired of typing on the chat. So when people like so in Red's room and Nina and everybody else is asking me to type things, I just said, when you're on the panel, it's actually easy because you can just respond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're going to be looking for receipts now.
I know.
You know,
And did you find the receipts I was telling you about yesterday over at Red's room?
I always got receipts, but I don't like to blackmail people. I like to, I call them out in public.
It's not called blackmailing. It's called sharing intelligence.
Okay. All right. I will take it. I'll take your word for that one.
Uh,
I
no,
appreciate you
no,
coming up, man. I appreciate you.
I
I think
thank
this is
you
the first
for.
time I've had you up, or second time I think I've had you up on my live,
Yeah,
right?
second
First,
time. I've
second
always
time.
wanted. I wanted to participate in. I think the conversation we did like there 2 weeks ago, but of course I clearly slept. But it's always good, and at least today I was still awake and read centers. Yeah, I think as soon as he finished his live stream, so I was like, oh, perfect. Today I can jump on his panel.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no. So I would love to ask you, um, going through adversity. I mean,
Mm.
you know, tell us a story of adversity and what did you do?
I
If you
thought
had
it's
any in your life.
yes, I think I always say there's always adversity, and it may not be technically be YouTube related because I think I know we talk a lot. I think as creators, um, in terms of the kind of content we make and the communities you are building. Um, but I think for me, my adversity must have been loss. And loss comes in many ways. It's losing a member of the family.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty rough because I think grief and its associated effects, sometimes gets very difficult to process.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the hardest time for me, and I think I was saying this over at Simon's early this year, I think was depression. I think this is like back in 9 years ago. And it was a lot because I think you are down, you're not interacting with people, you're not like you're not yourself, you're not bringing 100% at work. You're actually not showing up anywhere. You're not showing up in any events, in
Mm-hmm.
any in any activities. Um, and and it's interesting how it creeps in very slowly, and you realize that, oh, I'm just trying to isolate myself. Oh no, I'm an introvert. You make these excuses in your head, but deep down you're dealing with something that that is very something that needs to be addressed. And I think for me, that finding that breakthrough in terms of course, you guys, I think I know you joke a lot in terms of the stretches and everything, but for me, I think that's yoga. I think keeps me very sane because for me, that's like my go-to thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's like to space that in case things get if things get bad, I always know I need to just unroll my mat, and I'll be okay. Of course, I do believe also in like asking for help a lot. I
Right.
think growing up, because I lost my parents when I was very young, extremely young. I think I was not yet even an adult. So I think I grew up in a place. I had to grow up so fast as a man, in a
Mm-hmm.
sense that
Right.
I got independent so early. I got my first job when I was 17 years old. Um, I worked for like over 17 years before I even started making like some career moves and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for the longest time, I think I believed in like keeping to myself a lot because I think I did a lot of things by myself. I was very
Mm-hmm.
self-independent. But I think as I grew up and I think as I got to like navigate this thing called life, I realized that it's important to ask for help as part of like, and of course, help from the right people because not everybody is going to help. Some are going to like,
Right.
some are going to put you down, but there are people who are genuinely actually there to help. And that's, I believe, a lot in terms of the power of community and tapping into those people where you share the same energy, the same kind of things. At least there are always because there's always somebody who has dealt with what you're going through, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully can be able to like guide you through. So for me, I think my yoga has always been like my go-to place. I believe a lot in spiritual wellness and this kind of space. It totally became even like today I was in a yoga class today, and this guy was teaching and he was saying, I sell yoga for a living, and it was very fascinating when I
He,
heard
he
that.
sells yoga for a living.
Like nobody has ever said it that way. So I think when he said it, I was like, oh my goodness, wow. And he had his wife and his kids practicing there, and that was his introduction today.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave a very nice story about this gentleman who there's a man who always like he said that he has a neighbor who always used to clean his car at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very fascinating whether it's raining, whether it is, and the car was clean because according to me, it was like, this guy is always clean. Why is this guy always cleaning his car at 6 p.m.? Whether it is raining, whether it is like a dry day and whatnot. And So one day, I think after a few weeks, he said, I'm going to ask. He's like, Goga, I love receipts. I will ask. So he went and asked the neighbor, why are you always cleaning your car every day at 6? And sometimes it's very clean. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And is somebody that, he can actually get somebody to actually clean that car. He doesn't need to do it by himself. And then he said, this is the one time I don't get to deal with the pressure in the house. People are always asking me for things. I'm a boss at work. People are asking me for people always
Mm-hmm.
want my decision. When I
Mm-hmm.
come home, my kids want help with something. My wife is asking me for something else. The staff want something to be done. So for me, cleaning my car is the one place I can be lost. And that's why I do it every day. And the moral of the story was, anytime you are down, find that thing that actually makes you feel at peace. It
Mm-hmm.
can be, and I think the example is very simple. It can be something as simple as cleaning your car. If that is
Mm-hmm.
what makes you be peaceful, do
Your
it.
happy space. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your
Yeah.
happy space. It can be the Tiki Bar. It can be Winston doing its own thing at the Tiki Bar, or maybe the touch, the pork boss
Or
doing its
Trini
thing.
Trini eating pork. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The pork was doing his thing. That becomes your happy place. So I think for me, I'm learning over time that, when things fall apart, go to that thing that makes you happy. Go
Mm-hmm.
to that thing that makes you feel fulfilled. And sometimes it may not necessarily be YouTube, because I know we have life even outside this app, this YouTube itself. And go to that thing because that is what makes you feel most alive. And for me, I think that's why I love stretching. That's why I love the meditation and whatnot, because for me, I think it makes me sane when the world seems to be throwing lemons at me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I appreciate that. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying was, when that whole thing happened, and I'm just using the Tiki Bar as just one example,
Yeah.
that, you know, I realized like, life may interrupt your plans, but it doesn't have to destroy your purpose, you know.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, that's what it's about is, it's crazy. I talked to a lady, she was like, I was going through the airport, and this lady, she was like probably in her 70s. Her mom is in her 90s. And she was saying how her mom still works. And I was like,
Um,
her mom's in her 90s and she still works. And I was like, really? Why is she still working? And
yeah.
she said, when her mom's retired probably like 2 or 3 times before from different jobs. But she said she felt like she didn't have a purpose anymore if she stopped working, you know. And some people would be like, man, 90 years old, you need to go sit down somewhere and hang out with the
Absolutely.
grandkids, or the great grandkids at this point. But for some people, like you said, it's their happy place. Their happy place is what, grounds them and brings them back to what normalcy is. And
Absolutely.
it's always good to have a place like that where, you can fall back to, that brings you back to reality. Because the mental aspect is very real. So I got with that being said, I got Mr. Pork Boss himself, Trini, in the building. I don't know what he's eating,
He's
but
always eating. Definitely
I,
pineapples for
I,
sure.
I don't know what he's eating. But Trini,
I- I'm
welcome
having
in.
some apples, bro.
Okay, it's apples. Okay, so you say. All right.
Not
But
pineapple.
not pineapples. Yeah.
No,
I
not
wouldn't have,
pineapple.
if it
Not
was
pineapple.
pineapples, I wouldn't have
Apple.
let him up on the stage. So Trini, I know me and you talk offline, and I know you've gone through some adversity. I mean, you don't have to share what it was, but we've talked, and I'm glad you came up. How have you been dealing with that? If you want to share it, you can share it with the community, but how have you dealt with that adversity? And just kind of let the people know how do you deal with that
Um,
stress?
um. Well, it turned out fine actually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it took a lot of dialogue and different stuff, but in the end, everything turned out just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Without really, I can't say
Just
too
saying,
much
right,
about it,
right, right. I got you.
but
But in the beginning, did it feel that way?
in the beginning, it was horrible. It was horrible. But I don't think it's something I could talk about without saying too much.
Right, right, right. So we'll just
You know?
talk about the chaotic part of it. You know, like I said, you have all these plans. Hey, everything's great and everything's going good and all is well, and all of a sudden, boom, something happens, and
Mm-hmm.
you could easily be the one that just withdraws, like Goga said, withdraws into that little hole and says, you know what, I'm just gonna deal with it by myself, and me and the
Yeah,
family are
but
gonna deal with it, right? But you reached out, like I was actually touched that you reached out to me. We've never met, but the fact
yeah,
that you were able to reach out to me as a person that we've only talked on YouTube, and we were able to. So it shows that community is a very important thing. But I'll let you finish that.
yeah, because I don't know what it is about you, but you seem to be like somebody I can talk to. I get that vibe. So I was like really comfortable talking to you about that entire issue.
Hmm.
And I was glad you was there, that I could have reached out to you, because a lot of people go through so much things, and there's nobody they can reach out to, and even to listen.
Hmm.
You know, you
Hmm.
might not be able to give advice, but you could listen.
Listen,
Some people
yeah,
just need a ear to listen,
100%.
to get everything out.
Hmm.
So I was fortunate enough to have your ear to listen, and you gave me some good advice on whatever. So
Yeah, I've always had that. People say I have that face you can trust, but don't trust me.
yeah.
I'm the torture boss.
Yeah.
But no, it's very important to have that, whether it's family, friends, sometimes strangers. In this case,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's strangers, because sometimes people don't even you know live that well with their families to where they can reach out to them in a
Exactly.
in a time of stress. You know, so like Goga said, whatever gets you back to your set. I think the most important thing is understanding that you don't have to go through it by yourself. You
Yeah.
know, I think to me that's one of the most important things. Is like a lot of people, and you can, if you're a good friend of the person, you can tell when someone is going through a stressful situation, right? Because I don't care how you try to hide it, you can tell. I always say the face never lies, right? The face,
Hmm.
your emotions never really. You can tell when something is off with somebody, especially if you know them very well, you know. And it's always a lot of people are shy to ask their friends and family, "Hey, what's going on? How you feeling?" And a lot of times, like you said, Trini, they're just looking for an ear, and
Yeah.
just somebody that they can offload that stress to, because it's all built up emotions that they're like, I'm the only one that's got to deal with this. It's this, whatever the situation is, you
You
know.
know. Well, I was so fortunate that I had um a network. So much people around me who I feel I can trust.
Hmm.
Like you and Reds and Fluffy and TT and Roxanne. I could have, like, confided in them. They were calling me, checking up on me, making sure I'm good, making sure everybody good.
Hmm.
So I was fortunate to have that kind of support. But what about the people who need that support, and there's nobody they can
Yeah,
call?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And
No.
that's the thing. I believe there's always somebody there to call. You know, it's funny you say that. It kind of segues into what I was just getting ready to ask. The chat in general is, when things fall apart, is it your faith, your family? Is it your children? What is it that your discipline, your survival mode, your purpose? What are the communities, as we talked about? What is it that keeps you fighting? Because it's easy to give up. You know, so I let Goga. It's like Goga kind of mentioned it before, but I know a lot of people. Some people believe in faith, right?
Mm.
I think for the most part, that's kind of what most people reach out to first, right? So you find that people that usually don't pray, when a certain situation happens, the first thing they do is, because prayer is powerful, right? Especially when you have a community behind you, you know, enhancing that prayer. And then
I,
there's some
I,
people that go
I
ahead.
haven't prayed in a while, bro.
Oh, trust me. You know you don't have to close your eyes to pray, right? You know that.
I know.
So a lot of people feel like, there's always this stereotype that you got to go to church and you have to close your eyes to pray. You don't have to close your eyes to pray. Matter of fact, I don't close my eyes to pray because I don't trust people. I got to see what's coming at me. You know what
I am
I'm
sure,
saying?
I am sure food is involved. Win.
Huh?
Usually, do you close your eyes when? Is it like when they are giving thanks for the food, or just
Yeah,
generally?
yeah, initially, but I got one eye open. I'd be like, you know, maybe it's because I'm a cop. I don't know, but I'm like always on the lookout. So I'm like praying. I got one eye closed and I got the other eye scanning the room, you know. But no, it's at the end of the day, it's about having that trust. Because again, some people fall back on their faith, some people fall back, and it's amazing how through the years as you grow, you don't, you change as you get older in life and you go through different scenarios in your lifetime. It builds you, right? It makes you the person that you are. And I feel like you either learn from what you've gone through in life or you don't. And then, of course, they say if you don't, you're doomed to make the same mistakes over and over again, right?
Mhm.
Um, but you still have to me, the resiliency part of it is knowing that every day you wake up, you have an opportunity it's a new opportunity to do something different, you know? You
Mm.
know, we come to crossroads in life. Every single day we wake up, every time we make a decision, it leads to other decisions, right? And like we said, you don't know what's going to happen based on the decision that you're just making the best decision you can make at the time with the information that you have, right? So you try to make the most informed decision based on the situation that you're in at that time. But then, of course, like it says, karma is always there waiting for you around the corner. So what do you do when karma says, nope, that's not that's not what's going to happen, you know? So I want the chat to put it in there. What is it that drives you when things go wrong? You know, and don't just say God or family and leave it there. Tell us why. Give us a reason why. Because I know a lot of people be like, I lean on God. Well, God is going to help you, but He helps those who help themselves as well. You know, because again, somebody in this chat maybe barely holding on,
Yeah,
and you never know. You never know. Somebody might just be smiling in public and struggling privately, you know.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, like you said, they might just need an ear. They might just
That
need somebody to talk to.
that sounds like me. I smile a lot on YT, but I'm actually struggling a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's good to admit that because, it's the same thing for me. I'm going through some stuff right now, that is, I feel is personal, but I know there's people I've reached out to and just kind of let know what's going on. And again, for me, I always say, I said it before in the beginning of the chat, that I don't stress about the things that's beyond my control, you know.
Hmm.
And if I have control to do something about it, then I'm going to try to find a solution and do something about it. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm struggling in the sense that like moving to a new country and trying to fit in and to start all over again.
hmm
You know, after leaving Trinidad, I had to like sell everything I owned. I had to sell my car, everything I had acquired in my life. I had to get rid of it to move to Finland.
hmm
And then after moving to Finland, thinking in a way like I made a error. I should have stayed in my country.
hmm
But my wife is Finnish, and that's why I ended up in Finland. But
right.
it's really hard to navigate work wise. You don't know the language. you know. So it's like really hard for you to how to say, to get a job and
Mm-hmm.
to set yourself up again, because it come like I'm setting myself up from scratch again,
Right.
you know. So it's kind of difficult. So I'm under pressure in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
you know, trying to start my life all over again in a country where the language is not English. That English is the only language I've known, you know. And in order to get a job or to get anything going, you have to learn that language.
Right.
There's no way around it. You know, even though you just know how to say good morning or good night or good evening, you have to have some form of that language in order to be employed.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have it, nobody's gonna hire you because you can't understand what the people saying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And here's the
So
thing: you could have easily said, you know what, like you said in the beginning, gave up and just went straight back to
exactly.
Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
But you decided that you have something that's worth staying for, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is Christina, right? You know, she
Yeah.
keeps you grounded and keeps you, you know, moving forward.
Yeah.
So it goes back to our original discussion about having something that motivates you to keep going, you know, rather than giving up. You know, I see Chef Stevie. Let me read this real quick. She says, I have a
It's
quote
a
on my
beautiful
fridge:
one.
live happily ever now. What it means to me, live in the now, avoid future tripping. Yeah, you know, because we don't control what happens in the future, right? In some senses we do, but again, you know, the crossroads in life are not. It might take us there eventually, but it might not be a direct route. You know,
Mhm.
so let's see how food saying go, Winston. How food saying go, Winston. We adjust and we adapt and we overcome. Yeah, I was trying to read what he was saying, yeah, but we adapt till we overcome. Um, but yeah, it's just very interesting. Like, so I want to ask the chat again, and for you guys as well too, that's here on the panel. So, your first reaction, I'm gonna start with you, Gogo. When something out of the ordinary happens, what's your first reaction? Do you get quiet? You get angry? Do you go into I gotta fix it mode, or you pray, like, you know, or you keep moving while you're hurting? What? And the chat, you can respond to this as well. What is your first reaction when something goes haywire?
For me, it's panic, and I have a very wild imagination. So, and one of the things I think, one of the reasons I took up meditation was just to silence my mind. Because hey, Mamlin is there.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
All right. How about yourself?
Awesome. I have some receipts. Winston told us something about.
You keep receipts, huh?
He keeps receipts.
Yeah,
Why is it up
yeah.
there?
So
Shoot.
That's to go.
It's been going on. She sent me the message. And,
hey,
Uh,
Timmy, how you doing? Yes, Winston.
anything else? Let me ask her.
yeah. Okay.
Oh, I can carry on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Goga. I'm sorry. I was just
Okay,
listening. So
no
so
worries.
you say you go into panic mode.
Yes, so panic mode, and the way my mind works, I tend to overthink. I'm an overthinker, so I'll create a story in my head. It may be a very simple situation, but in my head it's like World War III happening, and you know, you the worst case scenario. And one of the reasons I think, and that's how generally my mind works. You give me something that I get into flight mode, and of course my mind starts over processing it. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, eventually, one of the things I've learned, and I think one of the things I even learned from these experiences, when life throws lemons at you, you also
Make
collect
lemonade.
yeah, make lemonade, but you also collect in experiences. So over time, you realize that when something happens, you kinda have at least a template. It's like, how did I handle this time I was down? I did not break. I did not die. Nothing happened. I went into the overthinking process, but I came out a victor either way. Like I found a solution. There's always one of the things I believe, I think, and I'm learning, I think, as I grow older, is that there is always a solution to what you think is very complex. And some of the experiences you've had are likely to like give you at least that particular, like let's say, for example, you got an accident last week. Is like, oh my god, I was I hospitalized? Yes. And I got better. Maybe I got an injury, the doctors attended to me, I got better. So it's just like that kind of a situation. So there's always like accumulative experiences you pick over time, and that becomes like one of the things that helps you at least know how to handle the next curveball that is thrown at you. So yes, but I've not, definitely I still struggle like like that. I think last week my boss told me something, and I think my mind went on overdrive. He said, "Can I meet you for lunch tomorrow at around 1 o'clock?" And it wasn't at the office; it was like at the coffee house above the office.
And you're like, am I getting fired?
Exactly. I already like created that scenario, and I'm like, oh, what happened? Because like, what happened? Is he like leaving? Is like you create all these things, and then you just get in there and you're like, oh, I just wanted to find out from you what happened in that event last week. We haven't met for a long time, and then I just like, if he knew what was going through my brain, the whole. Yeah. So that's generally how the mind works. You're always like trying to find ways of protecting yourself from like from that kind of danger. And sometimes it's just I think one of the things I'm learning over time is that, Goga, this is just in your head. Let us go and listen to what Winston is telling you. Maybe Winston just wants to know, Goga, how do you edit this video?
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah. And probably that's a great way of me coping nowadays.
Well, that's kind of funny you said, because I was having that conversation with someone the other day, and I said it's amazing how quickly you can talk yourself into something, or yourself out of something, right? I remember, and I'll give you one scenario. I was at so with my job, we do a lot of protection, right?
Yeah.
For our government officials. I can only say it in those terms. And I'm at this event, and this lady and her daughter walks up to me, and of course, I got the suit on, I got the earpiece in, I'm looking like the Secret Service, and this lady walks up with her daughter, and she's like, this is when President Obama was the president of the United States at the time. So she walks up and she's like, "Are you guys Secret Service? Is the president here? Is Michelle here?" And she literally talked, and the whole time I haven't said anything. I'm just standing there like this, straight face, no emotion. And she literally talked her way into saying, "Oh my God, the vice president, his wife is here." And she runs off and tells her friends, like, "Oh my God, Michelle Obama's here." And I'm like, I said the whole time, I absolutely said nothing. But it just shows you how people will, in their minds, come up with a scenario, even when it's
Absolutely.
not that situation. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's a stressful situation. So Trini, tell us yours. Like, how do you react first when something goes haywire?
Man, I cuss. Man,
I can see that.
I cuss. I use all kind of expletives at first, and like get that stress out, and then I sit and relax and try to navigate what my next move will be. And sometimes I just cook some pork and that's it, everything is good again.
That's your pleasure, I know.
Yeah, and sometimes if that doesn't work, I have family members who I can reach out to. Some of them I choose not to reach out to. And I have my friends. I have you, I have Reds, I have, whoever. And I can call and, interact with, and, at maybe some small advice, some word, some little wisdom you might pass on. And it gets me through it. It doesn't take much to help me,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But at first, I curse a lot.
Okay.
You know, I really have a kind of like I wonder if I should say that on YouTube. I have a kind of temper, you know.
Well, I mean, it is what it
So
is.
I try
So,
to like always smile and be funny, and you know, and just to keep that away,
mhm,
you know, keep that on the side, you know.
that's awesome. So I want the chat to be involved in this too. So I'm gonna get a response from the chat as
Goga,
well.
why you
So
laughing? You have
No, no,
receipts.
no.
You
I'm
have
not.
receipts.
Trini, I am not collecting receipts. I'm just laughing at
Okay.
what. I'm not. I'm just laughing at what Chef. I'm just laughing at what Chef is saying. Chef says the reacts the same way like you of the casting. I usually stop for a moment and say, "Uh-huh," a bunch of times, and then take a pause and figure out how to change the situation. and same as Damus also says the same thing, like the casting. I'm with Trini
yeah,
on this
I'm
one.
with Trini. Yeah, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask the same question to the chat. So I'm gonna give you a number, and whichever your response is, just type it in the chat, and then we'll move on to the next segment. So if you get quiet when it hits the fan, when stuff hits the fan, put a one. If you get quiet in the chat, if you get angry, put a two. That would be Trini. If you're fix it kind of person, you go into fix it mode. That would be me. Hit number three. Okay. And then let's see. Number four is you pray and you step back. That's number three. And I'm sorry.
4.
I'm sorry. Number four is I pray and step back. And number five, you keep moving while hurting. Okay. So basically number five is you just kind of keep it moving as you try to figure out why you're still in pain. So let me go over it again. Number one is, let me go back up here, see if I can get it back. What did I say? Number one was you get quiet. Number two, you get angry. Number three, you go into fix it mode. Number four, you say a prayer, you kind of step back, reevaluate. And then number five is you keep moving while hurting. So let's see. Goga says number one, Trini. Of course, we know Trini. We're going to call you Angry Man from now on, you know. For those of you that remember Angry Man from Martin, you know. That's what we're gonna start calling. See, Trini, you just gave him some receipts right there. Angry Man.
Yeah.
You know. Uh let's see. The moose got 35. Good God. Chef Simi says twos and five. But yeah, the only reason why I ask is because, you know, as we said before, everybody responds differently to pressure. You know, some people shut down. Some people, as Goga said, get into fight or flight mode. Um, some people isolate. Some people get more focused. You know, some people break down first, rebuild later. And at the end of the day, the truth is there's no perfect response, right? There's power in learning yourself, you know, and Goga mentioned it before, where every time you get into a situation, it's just another tool, as we say in the military, another tool in your toolbox, right? You learn from the things that were mistakes that you made, and again, you can learn or and move on, or you cannot learn and repeat it continuously, you know. uh
But when, believe it or not,
mhm.
when my wife is under pressure, she comes to me for advice.
And you cuss her out.
No, and no, and I give her advice. So I'm thinking, how could I give her
But
advice? But
when you
when
can't
I'm
communicate.
upset, I cuss. You know, I don't understand it.
Right. Well, you know what's crazy about that, Trini?
Mm.
Sometimes at the end of the day, because you have it, a lot of times people don't realize because you have experience in something, it makes it easier to respond to a situation, right? So if she asks you for advice and it's something that you've already been through or
Oh,
something that you're familiar with,
okay.
you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit easier for you to give advice on it because you've actually either experienced it before or you know someone that experienced it before and they know how to deal with the situation, you
Okay.
know? So even though you might not qualify yourself as someone that should give advice, I mean, at the end of the day, like Goga said before, the experiences that you probably had before made you capable of answering that question. You know?
Oh, okay. I used to work for a guy one time, and he told me something that I always carried with me. He said, "Experience is a good school, but the fees are high."
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I
You
like
That's
know?
a
that.
powerful word.
Yeah.
I like that. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Yep.
You know. And you find that I think you find that now I realize why, I tell people all the time, like I've always been a straightforward person. I say what's on my mind and I'm very tact with it, That's a big word there, Trini. Write it down. Tact.
Yeah, let me write it.
T-
Yeah, you're using my lines.
Wow, Winston. Wow.
and I realize from being in the military, tact is very important because you might want to say what you want to say, but you have to pick the right situation. You know what I'm saying? So you
Mhm.
might have someone that comes to you and say something like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened," and in the back of your mind, you're like, "Man, go drink some water and lay down somewhere, dude. Isn't it? You know what I'm saying? It ain't that serious." But
Yeah.
but for them, they deal with stress in a different way. So you have to be tactful and be like, "Yeah, man, I'm yeah, I kind of, but in the back of your mind, like, man, I wish I could smack the hell out of you because it ain't that serious, you know." you know, you're like, it ain't that serious, dude. But you know what I'm saying? But again, people deal with stress in different ways. So you have to listen because it's that one of the biggest parts of communication is being able to listen. And then, you know, don't just respond, listen first,
Hmm.
evaluate, and then give the response based on the scenario or the situation that you're in, you know.
Yeah.
So let's move on. We're at about we're at about close to an hour right now. So we're going to talk about resilience. And you hear the word used a lot about resiliency and how it works. And the one thing I've learned about resilience, it does not always look dramatic. You will see the person that was like, "Oh, I was in a car accident and I couldn't walk, and next thing you know, I'm running a triple marathon and something like that." It doesn't always look like that, you know. And it's not some big movie, some big speech. Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it's just getting up out of bed. You know, that could be your resilience, right? It's like
Mm.
showing up to work. Believe it or not, showing up to work is a step forward for a lot of people. Because I feel like I can tell you myself, some days I wake up and I'm like, man, as they say, I got an eye problem. I don't see myself going to work today. you know. So,
A
I
good
mean,
joke.
yeah, I mean, those little things, are just interesting. What makes someone consider it a win or something that is important to them in life that you know, makes it a resilient situation, you know, fixing something that you've never built before, taking the next step, getting a college education or whatever it is, you know. I think for like uh what's his name? Trini, it'd be like going live when he's scared to talk to people.
Yeah.
Or if you just feel down and out and you don't want to go live, I can use Reds as an example. Reds went through his little thing yesterday. That's why I came on there to mess with him because I wanted to bring his spirits back up. So I was like, Reds, did you get demonetized so you can have a topic to talk about tomorrow on my live? You know. But I find that laughter in most cases will help people to kind of get out of that funk, as they call it. I got Mr. Who the heck, Butler Family Farms. What It's not Jerry. Did you steal somebody's channel there, Devil Dog? I can't hear you.
You're muted.
You're muted. I can't. Hit the button.
He's got his thing.
Oh, it's Butler. Okay, it's Eddie. Okay, I got you. Sorry, I was reading my own screen. But you're still muted. You still.
Hey,
I was like Butler Family Farm. I was like, okay.
bro, that's not me.
Oh yeah. No, I was reading my chat. It was above your name. I was like, hold on. Okay, Devil Dog,
Receipts.
welcome in, my brother. So glad you could join the chat. So talk to us. Tell us how you Devil Dog is a former. Well, there's no such thing as a former Marine. Devil Dog is a Marine.
Okay.
What's up,
and-
Dogo? What's up, Trini?
What's
You
up,
know-
Devil Dog?
You know, Marines like to destroy stuff. So Devil Dog, how do you deal with a stressful situation? And I won't be surprised by your answer. Go ahead.
Well, somebody said it earlier. You improvise, adapt, overcome.
That's right.
The thing is I go into fix it mode. And what keeps me going when things fall apart is it's unacceptable. I got to find a solution. And it's the willpower and determination of making things work. I mean, you know, before I went in the Marine Corps, when I was in high school and stuff, there were several people knowing that I was on delayed entry program and going in the Marine Corps, telling me, you know, you'll never graduate Marine Corps boot camp. And when somebody tells me I can't do something, it's going to make me do it, want it and do it all the more and everything else.
So, I mean, now that you're a civilian, how do you deal with a stressful situation?
Well, I deal with it the same way because Marine Corps they brainwash you, bro. And
See, I'm letting you say it.
Once they do that, it kind of stays with you. It's like, you know, they break you down to build you up, but then it stays in your DNA. Now, when you first get out of the military, it takes a little bit to become re-civilianized. Because us as a Marine, we had mouths like sailors and our humor was dark and everything else, where it was acceptable in the Marine Corps. The general public, the civilians, wouldn't see it acceptable. The things that we thought was funny, the things that we did, our language and everything else. And it took me a while to get back to be a civilian. Let me give you an example. I got out of the Marine Corps. Now, my dad was a preacher, okay, and I was raised in church.
Right.
And the thing is, I mean, I was made to go to church every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Wednesday night, every time there was a revival, everything else, okay? And when I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to Sunday school one time, went to church Sunday morning, and I started getting involved in it and stuff. And there was a cuss word that slipped out of my mouth. And I was so freaking embarrassed. I'm like, I ain't going back to church till I stop cussing.
So the Marine Corps was your getaway from church. That was
yeah. Well, here's the thing. In boot camp, though, they made you go to church. Because it didn't matter what religion you were,
whatever your religious preference was.
Yeah, if you were Protestant, Catholic, Buddhist, whatever, you had to pick a religion, and Sunday you were going to church, no matter which one it was.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, so you see, you bring a different perspective, and I understand your perspective too, because I was in the military as well. That we are taught to ignore stress, you know. Let's go take that here. Like I said, you know, when we just mentioned it before, where somebody comes up to you and like, hey, you know, Devil Dog, man, I don't like this situation. And you're like, dude, go drink water and go sit down or do some push-ups. You know what I'm saying? You'll be fine, you know. And it's crazy to me because from a mental aspect, right, now going through, so one of the things that I am diagnosed with is PTSD from the military. And it was something that we never, as military folks, we never thought about, right? Because the military, like you said, ingrained us to just deal with it. You know, take some Motrin, drink some water,
Yep.
and carry
Yeah.
out the mission, carry on.
You didn't go to medical unless you were dying.
Yeah, and you didn't want to go because
Yep,
everybody's going to give you crap about it.
Exactly.
When
You didn't.
came back.
Yeah.
When they'll call you sick call ranger or something like
Yep.
that. So
Gold brick,
yeah,
what? Yeah.
whatever it was. So there was one. You got one leg hanging off by a string, and you got a road march tomorrow, and you're like, man, I'm just going to go on this road march because I don't want nobody talking bad about me. And that's how it was in the military. Where for a civilian, that's never been taught that way of dealing with just ignoring stress. They'd be like, "Yo, I'm going to the hospital. I'm doing everything I need to do to get rid of this leg that's hanging off by a string."
Well, and that's kind of what I was taught growing up because my dad was in the Army. Okay.
Mhm.
And we didn't go to the doctor unless we were dying. Okay. He would always be, "Oh, you're okay. Rub some dirt on it." Or, don't be a sissy. Don't be a baby. And that's how I grew up. And the same thing applied in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. It's kind of, I'm glad you kind of said that because I was kind of segueing to the next segment where, a lot of people think strength means never feeling weak, and, real strength to me is refusing to stay down, refusing to, whatever situation you is, just bow down to it and let it take over. You got to get up, and like I said, to me, every day you wake up, it's a new day, it's a new path. You got a new opportunity to do something different, do something better. Like I said, in my job, I get to speak to a lot of people that are on the opposite end of the law, and when I talk to those people, I don't treat them like criminals. I treat them like people, and I talk to them as people. And you'd be surprised how people have this misconception of people that make mistakes is what I'm going to use it as, right? Now you got some wild ones out there, some bad ones out there. It just is what it is, but there's, I'm going to throw a Bible verse out there where they say, if he's without sin, let him cast the first stone.
Romans 3:23.
Right? And we are quick to judge a lot of times, and we are probably doing something worse than that person is doing. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it goes back to, like we were talking before, is just having that ear, being able to listen to someone's situation, providing good, legit advice, right, Trini?
And here's the thing, there's a lot of us vets that don't want, we hold it in, we don't want to talk about it. And if we do talk about it, we definitely don't want to talk about it to civilians and stuff. It happened Reds, it happened a whole lot with like the Vietnam veterans and stuff like that. Yes. Now I think nowadays it's a little bit softer than what it used to be.
A lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why the military was such a tight brotherhood too, is because they have, done the same things you have. They've been in the same place, the same dirt, the same everything else. And that's why you feel, and that you got their back and they got your back. And that's why you feel more comfortable talking, because there ain't nothing that you can say that they going to judge you for, or not, not have your back, have your six and stuff like that. Whereas you tell a civilian something, and let me give you a little example. Like in Vietnam, when they had the children, and the same thing during Desert Storm and everything else, where they had the children carrying bombs, and everything else, suicide bombs and the thing is you tell that kid to get back or to stop or whatever, and he keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. and you have to dispatch that kid or woman or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't
Mm-hmm.
what you want to do, and it
Mm-hmm.
ain't what makes your mind right, or anything else. Because if you're a good man, you've been taught, everything against that.
Protect the
But
women and children. Yeah.
yeah, but you got to protect yourself and your buddies, and they didn't give you a choice. You only had one thing. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the civilian, there's some civilians, not all civilians, but some civilians don't understand that, and they condemn you, for that and everything else. Whereas, your brother understands why you did it and everything
Mm-hmm.
else. And like I said, that it plays a mental toll on you too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why you gotta lean on your brothers and talk to your brothers, because that definitely takes. It's like when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was a volunteer firefighter for 2 years, and you see stuff, and the worst thing that affects you is kids.
Mm-hmm.
When something happens with kids, and it affects you up here and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So, I mean, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, and the crazy part is that, no pun intended, is that um, um, most agencies, especially military, law enforcement, firefighting, have actually acknowledged the fact that they don't have not over the years given enough support to mental health, right? For especially for those career fields, right?
Well, it's the same thing with police. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
got a teenager, a young kid coming at you with a gun. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to make the hard decisions.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that again, it's stress that people, I mean, it's a different kind of stress level.
Yeah,
And again, different people deal with stress in different ways. I feel like a lot of us are taught in that
compartmentalize it.
compartmentalize it because we are in that career field.
Yep.
There's a lot of times when people are like, well, you're trained to deal with that. No, we're not. We're not trained to deal with stress. We're trained to deal with a situation. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And just because you're trained to deal with a situation doesn't mean that that's how the situation is going to turn out, right? Because what Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
I like
No
that one. I
copyright,
like that one.
no copyright here, Mike Tyson. But that's a good quote. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, and that's what life is. Life is you. You got this great plan about what you gonna do and how tomorrow's gonna be, and where my life's gonna be, and then boom, life does what life does, and you have the opportunity to either lay down and take it, or you know rebuild and move on. you know
Yes.
so let me ask this, and I'm gonna ask all three of you all this. So faith, and Devil Dog, you already mentioned it, but faith, right? Mindset and perspective. So for some people, what keeps them going is faith. you know and I'm not saying life gets easy. I'm saying faith gives you something to hold on to, when everything else feels unstable, right? So for others, it's mindset. It's saying, this is temporary. I've survived it before. This is just a setback. Will not be my whole story. And sometimes the greatest shift is realizing that just because something fell apart doesn't mean you're falling apart. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you may be in a hard season, you may be under pressure, you may be frustrated, but that does not mean you're finished. And somebody needs to hear that tonight. You're not finished. You know what I'm saying? I know there's somebody probably in the chat that needs to hear that. You are not finished. Okay? There's the system of, or the saying that there are 22 veterans commit suicide every day, right? We don't know the exact numbers. It might be more, it might be less. But even one person is too much, you know. So at the end of the day, again, sometimes people come to you and say inadvertent things, and they might just be reaching out for help. So it's always good to keep that ear open, and just kind of listen, because a lot of times, you hear people talk about, and people always kind of play it down, suicide awareness. You know, a lot of times people give you the information prior to them, you know, getting into that situation and actually performing the act. So, again, sometimes it's just good to keep that ear open. Um, Sometimes you might be going through something, but somebody's situation is probably worse than yours. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes our selfishness kind of um, gets us to be like, well, I know you got this going on, but I got my own problems. You know, you know what I mean? But is your problem as important as that next person's problem? Yeah, it might be to you, but to me, when it comes to life and death, you have to kind of weigh that, you know, because I always tell people, for me, somebody always got it worse than you. I don't care what kind of situation you're in, you know, somebody always got it. And it's all about perspective, right? What you might consider somebody's bad situation, for them, it's like, I've never had a TV in my life. I don't know what having a TV is about, you know? So um, that's just my little soapbox. Let me ask another one. Have you ever had to rebuild something from scratch in your life? So I'm gonna start with Goga and then work my way back.
I liked your I like that soapbox of yours because I think it was it was a great way of just also not downplaying the realities of some people. Yes, rebuilding from scratch, and sometimes I think when you find when as we said, then life throws lemons at you, you make lemonade. That's part of rebuilding from scratch. I was
Mm-hmm.
just speaking from you guys talking about the experience, especially in the army and the marine. And I just recollected, I think, having served in public service, for like about 17 years. And when I made the difficult decision to leave, and people never leave because you wait to retire, because it's permanent, it's guaranteed, it's assured, there's stability, there is power. But when I took that leap to leave that particular to compromise on stability for the uncertainty, I did get an opportunity to rebuild. It was really rough because I think sometimes when you leave comfort, it's. To be honest, I think I even got stressed for a bit for like about 3 months after I left,
Mm-hmm.
because there's something, and somebody once said it. I think one of my mentors actually said it a long time ago that my phone stopped ringing.
Mm-hmm.
I was, like I think that was the one thing that I think I totally downplayed, because when I was in public service, my phone always used to ring. People always used to ask me things. There's something that needs to be done. Things were moving. There was power with the office. And then I think I remembered something that I was told. Goga, when you left, it was the office. It was the trappings of the office. It was not you. So people are dealing with you because of the office. And the moment, I think that was so rough. That was so rough for me because I could not reconcile it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because now I'm in a position, my phone is no longer ringing. Um, and then you're in an uncertain place. You don't know what you're going to do next. And it was willingly. It's not like you're fired or anything. You actually just decided to leave because you are tired. I was bored. I needed to do something. So I was just tired. And then, of course, now I got into the space I got into the civil society, where now you have to rebuild things from scratch. You're working at the grassroots, and I have to work with kids. It's,
Mm-hmm.
it's something totally different. You get into a space where, because like for the longest time, I think I'm a policy, I'm trained in policy. So it was always government stuff, but then now you're in a place where you have to actually do the real work, get your hands dirty, just to make sure that kids are fed in
Mm-hmm.
the space of education. It was rebuilding. To be honest, it was rough. I missed, I think, the familiar. I missed the power. I missed the thing. I missed that aspect of when I make a call, people just speak it. But I have to start from scratch. Rebuilding was powerful, and I think it paid off 6 months later when I started now seeing the results.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I think I forgot, I forgot that stability of the familiarity. I forgot, the things I was missing. And it's because I think I did not, and I think sometimes give yourself grace, to grieve things.
Mm-hmm.
And you can grieve like workplaces, you can grieve friendships, you can grieve
Mm-hmm.
relationships, you can grieve, you can grieve those things. Give yourself the grace to do it, because then it will let you move on to the next things. Because and sometimes there's a reason things happen. There's a reason that decisions are made. There's a reason sometimes you have to go through these particular situations, because it's probably preparing you for the next thing, or maybe the next big challenge that is ahead of you. And sometimes the idea is like, what is the lesson learned to prepare you for the next thing that you need to rebuild?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I believe a lot in the power of rebuilding, especially after going through, that particular challenge, or maybe falling down, because then it arms you with that skill. It arms you with that experience that you needed for that next level. So yeah, I think that's what I would say. So I'm looking back, and now it's been 2 years, and I'm like, yeah, it was a great move. It did not make sense then,
Mm-hmm.
to most people, and sometimes, guys, some of the things you do, they will never make sense to people, but it has to make sense to
Thanks
you.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to make sense to you, because I think sometimes I know we always like rely a lot on what people think. Sometimes it really doesn't matter. Sometimes
Yep.
it has to make sense to you. If it makes sense to you, it will pay off in the long run, because you're the one who understands. They always say the person who wears the shoe is the one who understands whether
Mm-hmm.
the shoe is like too small or it's too big. You're the only one who knows. Yeah, so I think
Yep.
that's what I would say.
Nah, thank you. I appreciate that. Trini, how can you
Yo,
follow Goga? Because it's hard to follow Goga. So talk to us. Have you ever rebuilt anything from scratch?
well, I'm actually rebuilding my life
Mm-hmm.
from scratch.
Oh,
You
he just
know,
he just one up you, Goga. Go ahead,
migrating
Trini.
from one
Let,
country
let me let, let
to
me
the
let me
other.
do, let me do that thing Novelty likes doing. Clock it.
Yeah, clock it. Yeah, clock it. Yeah,
Go ahead, Trini.
I'm actually rebuilding my life as we speak. Not only in the sense of moving from one country to the other, but I was at death's door twice.
Mm.
You know, because of some medical situations. So it comes like I have a new lease on life. So anyhow you want to look at it, I'm rebuilding.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
No, you're absolutely right. I
Yeah.
agree. All right, Double Dog, it's on you.
There was something you said earlier, and there was something that I just watched. I think it was earlier today, but it was like today or yesterday, and it was about Jamie Foxx.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jamie Foxx had a stroke or whatever, and he was in the hospital or whatever else, and he had to, learn to walk kind of again and everything else. And he said that God spoke with him,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that, he's like, he was asking God, he's like, why is this happening to me? I'm Jamie Foxx. I make people laugh. I'm a good person and everything else. And he couldn't understand it. He goes, there's all these bad people and everything else. And he said, that God told him, he said, because you belong to me, and these other people belong to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, it's kind of, hits home and stuff like that. Why some people go through a lot of stuff that's real religious and stuff. Why, if you're religious, why does Satan need to tempt them? He don't, because they're already serving him. But yet, if you're serving God or whatever, then that's why you have temptations, trials, everything else. But yeah, I had to put as far as starting from scratch and stuff, I had to start from scratch with Gary there. I made him mad one time and he quit talking to me. And I had to apologize and all, rebuild
From
all
scratch.
the malice.
What say you, Belt Loop?
About what? How to go
Well,
on?
the question is, I know what Eddie said, but have you ever built anything from scratch
Uh,
Rebuild.
or rebuilt, I should say?
Well, that's a good question. That maybe. I think sometimes you have to rebuild relationships. Lord knows, knowing Eddie, I've had to do that with Eddie 4 or 5 times. He, he'll, well, I won't go into that.
Was it worth it?
That remains to be seen.
It's still in the early stages. Okay, I got it. Go ahead.
Well, it seems to me that typically, if you lay a good foundation, if you build something that you're proud of, sometimes it's just hard to deal with if it gets torn down. I guess. I don't recall having to rebuild anything that has been torn down other than relationships, I guess. That's a good question. I don't know that I have a good answer for it.
Let me give you an example for Gary, and it's not him, but his brother. His brother, not too long ago, about 8-9 months ago or whatever, his brother's house caught on fire and they lost just about everything. And so they had to start over from scratch doing that, right, Gary?
Yeah, they did. They were lucky that no lives were lost, at least no human lives. I think they lost 2 pets, 2 or 3 pets, but they still had, I think, 2 dogs and one of the cats left. And they were fortunate enough to where they had insurance covered, and they rebuilt. Basically, they didn't rebuild; they rebuilt their life. They moved down to Hattiesburg, found a house, which their daughter was going to be going to school down there and at USM, and yeah, I mean, I've seen it done. I'm not sure that I think that when it does come to some relationships, I'd say not all of them is worth rebuilding.
Are you saying that about me, Gary?
No, not about you, and that remains to be seen.
Still early stage. We're still in the early stages there, Eddie. Still in the early stage.
I think some are, but I don't know that all are. Sometimes it's just a sign that you need to move on. But I think that some relationships, you could look at the YouTube itself as rebuilding, because let's face it, she's fickle. And she shines a light on you for a little while and then she takes it away. Lord knows, if you ain't real consistent on uploading, if you're not consistent on doing your live streams, then a lot of the people that come to your live streams will be somewhere else. So if you look at me and Eddie been doing this, I guess, about 4 years. And the people that used to hang out in our live stream, very few of them you see anymore. So, so it's really had to be, I guess it's almost like you're building, taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Or maybe it's 3 forward and 2 back. There's some give and take there either way you go.
So it's a constant rebuild.
So yeah, it is.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting you say that, because what's interesting is that a rebuild, it changes you, right? Like, you never come out the same. So it's almost like, when you rebuild something, you see it differently. You probably value it differently. You protect your peace differently, right? Because some things that used to stress you out, you're like, that it wasn't even worth my time. You manage your time differently, right? So crazy enough, if you lose your channel or you lose your monetization, you realize, you know what, I could have done this differently. So your time management probably changes, and then you stop taking certain things for granted, right? It may sound strange, but what fell apart actually revealed what mattered most to you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I'll give you an example. Mine and Gary, we have, during this period, we've seen people And so whenever we lose people like that, because we would do it a certain way, and there would be people that would come around to get us to play their playlists and to get the people in our chats to subscribe to them. And when they felt, and me and Gary would push, we'd shout out channels. You remember that, Gary? We'd shout out channels all the time. We'd watch people's playlists. We'd, tell everybody to subscribe to them, everything else. But whenever they feel that they've saturated that channel or whatever and got what they could get out of it, they leave and you wouldn't see them. And I've still seen people on YouTube that haven't come back to my channel in years now. And so I don't do that now. Gary does it sometimes, as far as he'll show people's channels and stuff like that. But I'm like, I'm not here to do that, to be taken advantage of. So I got to do my own stuff. So yes, it's changed. My channel's changed, over the 4 years because of stuff like that. So
and that's like, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know Eddie at the beginning of his live, every time for a long time would set up, and he'd pick out 5 or 10 channels, like 5 channels where he was going to, that was who he was going to shout out. And he'd spend his first 30 minutes just talking about other channels. And I know he had like 7 different screens where he'd be playing different people's live streams at any given time. And I know that it upset him a lot more than it has bothered me. People come in and out of your life. The thing is, you don't let that many people that close to you, so that it's going to bother you.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm a little bit emotional, but that's not because of this subject. I just left a memorial service, and I'm.
Oh yeah, no, I understand.
But I'm good. I swear I am.
No, it's at the end of the day, and it's kind of funny you guys mentioned that, sometimes that breakdown shows you who's really with you. It's it shows you what happens when habits are hurting you. Sometimes it shows you where you've been pouring energy in with no return. You know what I'm saying? So, and sometimes it pushes you to become the version of yourself that you're avoiding too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you already knew what was up, and that's life in general. That is life in general, right? You
That's
take
right.
stock, you put effort in people that you thought were, somebody that was in line with what you were thinking or what your plans were, and you put that effort in, and then at some point they go their own separate way. At the end of the day, it still doesn't stop you from rebuilding, because people are going to come and go in your life. And like you said, as you learn from each of these experiences, if you learn, you determine that, okay, I won't do that again, right?
Well,
what's the phrase? If you I can't even think of it right now. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're doomed to repeat them.
That's right. Well, one thing about it, though, I think Eddie probably stayed. I mean, I don't know. You went to school a pretty good while in one place, didn't you, Eddie? Or did you move around as much as we did? I think you did, didn't you?
Well, you talking about regular school growing up?
Yeah, growing up.
I was always moving around. We only stopped moving around even in 7th grade. 7th grade, I went to 2 different schools. And then from 8th grade on, I went to Humble and graduated from Humble. Other than that, I moved schools all the time. My dad was in the Army and never could keep a job, was always moving around, stuff like that. So, yeah, all through elementary and middle school and stuff, we were constantly moving. I changed schools, I don't know, 4 times in a year, at points.
Well, I know I went in 4 years, I went to 4 different schools. Well, actually in 3 years, I went to 4 different schools. And that was, it just always seems like you were leaving one thing going to another. And so from that perspective, it wasn't real stable, I guess, at that time. And for me, I guess it become the norm. You make a friend and you move on.
Yep.
And so maybe that's why it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. Because most people are temporary.
Are you saying you don't want to be my friend? You saying I'm a temporary person in your life?
Hey, I'm saying that you've been there for 4 years. A lot of these people have been there for 6 months and then they're gone.
Well, yeah, I've been to 4 schools in 1 year before, Gary. But that ain't the thing. Gary, anybody that I'm really close to,
yeah.
How long have I been friends with Robert?
Since 8th grade.
42 years. Okay. Yep. How long have I been friends with John and James and Bert and Dave?
Well,
since 91.
I ain't trying to argue with you, and I ain't trying to say that about you either.
No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying whenever I have close friends to me, I usually hold on to my close friends.
Yeah, right. They're few and far between.
Right.
And you are a close friend of mine, even though you're a pain in my butt half the time.
That's the whole point. Well, you know what? Can I be honest? Sometimes actually what keeps you going is not motivation. Sometimes it's discipline, because, motivation comes and goes, feelings come and go, energy comes and goes. But I feel like discipline is something that's, you're going to do what needs to be done. Right.
I'm very disciplined to stay friends with Gary.
Well, I mean, he doesn't make it easy for you, But yeah, because at the end of the day, like some days you don't feel inspired, some days you don't feel strong, you don't feel hopeful, you don't feel creative, you don't feel ready, to take on the world. But discipline, is to me is what keeps you going, right? Because if you have discipline, you have the responsibility, you got that structure, you got that commitment to finishing something. I feel like if you've ever, one of the best things in life is finishing something. You know what I'm saying? Like you start something, whether it's a project, whatever it is, it could be school, education, whatever it is, but getting to that end and finishing that, whatever it is that you started, to me is one of the best things in life. Where,
feeling of accomplishment.
If you have to go through all these bumps in the road to get to that accomplishment, it might be something small or something, or or a life-changing or life-altering event, but just the fact that you accomplished something, you have to have that commitment towards it, and discipline is what's going to get you there. So I'm gonna start with Goga. Do you agree that discipline is probably more important than, what's the word I'm looking for? Over feelings, like over your feelings. So your discipline is more important than your feelings in some cases.
Absolutely. Of course, because discipline, for me, I believe discipline builds character over time, because discipline then becomes like an extension of you as a person. So, of course, feelings are definitely, I'm not going to disregard feelings, because they're important, and it's important to also be alive to the, to the emotions that are always involved, because we are only human.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I believe discipline always builds character over time. And that's why you always realize when you keep repeating something, it becomes part of you. Like it becomes like second nature, and it becomes like identity. In fact, sometimes you may have to, sometimes it becomes a habit. That's the word I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a habit. It becomes second nature. It becomes like natural to you.
Some people call it muscle memory.
That's it. I know. I see what you did there, but
yoga. Yeah, go ahead. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Okay, cool. No, I appreciate that. Yeah. What about you, Trini?
No, well, I think both of them go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
because the need to want something, and then the need to have discipline to know that you have to work towards it, or you have to save towards it, or whatever. So I think both of them go hand in hand in a sense.
Okay.
Because if you don't have that discipline to walk the straight and narrow, to save or work towards what you want to achieve, then you will just walk the wrong path, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's not the path you want to take. You take a
Yeah,
shortcut. You take a shortcut then because you don't have the discipline.
you have to have the discipline to stay on
Yeah,
track, stay
to
on
stay
your
on
goals,
track.
and
Yeah,
stay grounded. Yeah.
yeah.
What about you, Eddie?
Military teaches discipline. So I agree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Belton.
What was the question? Discipline, is it a good thing or not? Yes, it's a good thing, I think, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure that I have it. I go mostly by the seat of my britches. Oh, by
Well,
the way,
that is your discipline, right?
yeah. By the way, big up to Trini. Much love, brother. Trini in Finland.
Hey, Ben, look.
Good to see you, brother. Just wanted
Yeah,
to
good to see you too, bro.
blessings.
How about Goga, Gary?
Goga too, but I got special love for Trini. He made me that song and everything, and I love those songs.
How about Lynn, Gary?
Well, of course I love Lynn or Win, or I wouldn't be here. And Lynn,
I didn't say Win. I said Lynn.
Much love for Lynn. She gets the food and everything, and I love her. Just but I ain't gonna flirt with her because she's Trini. We got Winstone and everything up there, and that ain't my style. So, just saying.
Hey, watch out, Winstone.
Uh,
I know.
He was a player back in the day, man. That's why he got the troll
Himalayas,
sticker,
right? From
the
Himalayas?
troll towel, Idaho.
Hey, one man, woman at the moment. I ain't saying I can't be rented, but no, that's a joke. That's a joke. The just playing. Hey, just a class clown here. So, having a little fun.
So let me ask you this question. All right, we're getting about an hour, about 50 minutes out from wrapping this up, but I wanted to ask you guys on the panel as well. So how do you know when it's time to rest versus when it's time to push harder? Right? And what advice? So, two questions in essence. How do you know when it's time to basically back off or continue on this quest that you're on? And what advice would you give to somebody that feels that if like they're losing momentum in life right now? So we'll start back at we'll start back at the top with Goga.
Man, why Gary always go last for?
Yeah.
You know what? All right, yeah, because he gets to think about it. So let's flip.
Oh yeah, that is a good reason.
All right, we're gonna flip it. We're gonna go to. I was actually thinking that already. I was like,
You can't ever tell what I'm gonna say though. I don't even know what I'm gonna say. So,
and I got Reds just joined the chat too. He just stepped up to the bar. So Reds, you in the building? Check, microphone check. 1 2 1 2. Okay, hold on. He's got too many profiles right now. Let me see if I can add him again. Reds, you in the building? I'm still not hearing him. All right.
You got another one to add?
I don't know. I mean, he got demonetized and they took his microphone too, I guess. I don't know.
Hey,
Wow.
Repoed.
I love you, Reds.
it's that KFC Wi-Fi. It's got to be the KFC Wi-Fi.
It was like, yeah, Reds, we're going to need you to turn your microphone in too. We're going to take your money and your microphone. You know how it is. It's all love.
Yeah.
All right. So until Reds comes up, I'm still waiting to see if his volume comes up. So back to the question. So at what point do you push harder or kind of hold back on the situation? It doesn't matter what the situation is. And what advice would you give to somebody who feels like they're losing momentum in their life? Right now?
Can I do this one first?
I
Yes,
can answer
yes, you
for
get-
me.
you
I
get to
can
go
answer
first.
for I can answer for me and Gary. Okay. Here's the thing. Well, here's Gary's answer. Okay.
Okay.
He does it just long enough till something else catches his attention, and then he forgets all about the first thing.
Well, that may not be far from true, but I do have a different answer. When I was going through the police academy, I was pretty consistently hitting, we were required to do a 1.5 mile run. I was pretty consistent around 12:30 every time I ran it until the last time. And it has become kind of the last time I always tried to give my best throughout from start till I finished. The problem for me was, I would get to the point where my best wasn't good enough. I was trying sprinting through the whole thing. From the word go till until I hit that finish line. But when I got to where I was sprinting so hard, using like so much energy and oxygen through I had to stop for a second on my last run. I stopped and walked for about 10 spaces, and then I picked up again and started sprinting. It was the first time I had been there that I'd actually cut my time down by over 30 seconds. I ended up with 11 minute 51 second mile and a half, which for me was great at 50 years old. It's kind of the way I do most everything is sprint, give 100% effort, try as hard as you can until you just, you're exhausted. Then you take a breath for a second, catch your wind, get a second wind, and then go right back at it. I work whatever I do, I try to give it 100%. Sometimes though, like on this, there is no finish line. There's no finish line on YouTube. So, sometimes
because I was on the headphones.
I can hear you now, Reds. Right? What's up, Reds?
Hey, what's happening?
Much love, brother.
Sorry, I was on another device and the microphone was echoing. I don't know what the hell I was doing, I guess, because I don't have a Bluetooth connected to it. Great conversation tonight, guys. Great conversation.
We're wondering if they demonetize your
Kingston
headphone and your
said?
microphone too. So we'll just check. Can
you guys hear who's on my phone right now?
No. Who's on your phone?
You can't hear the conversation on my phone. I got to make sure that it's not going to be exposed on streaming.
No, we can't hear your conversation on your phone, right?
Yeah, you might get demonetized there. Watch out, Winstone.
There's some people in my ears right now, so I just want to make sure it's not leaking out on your channel.
Okay. I mean, if the monetization is spreading like COVID, I guess I'll catch it,
No, we're not wishing that on anybody, bro.
But it goes back to the whole conversation. It's what's important to you. You know what I'm saying? And I know you mentioned it yesterday, Reds. They're going through adversity lets you figure out what's important to you in life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the main thing. It's like at some point you're like, really, was this that important? No, it wasn't. Why did I waste all this time stressing about something, again, like I said, that I had no control over? And if I did have control over it, then I find a solution to the problem, you know, and that's the way I operate. But anyway, Red, since you're here, I'm gonna ask the question to you too. We're at 149, so you can answer the question.
Ask the question, brother.
All right. So how do you know when it's time to rest versus push harder?
Hold on,
Doesn't
hold
matter
on,
the
hold on.
situation.
Hey, guys on the phone, I'm trying to answer Winston, man. Stop chat, man. Hey, stop chat, stop chat. Yo,
Who's he
yo,
talking?
yo. Stop chat. They're not stopping, you see? All right, ask me the question again.
All right. So how do you know when it's time to rest versus push harder? Doesn't matter the situation. And what advice would you give to somebody who feels like they're losing momentum in life right now?
So first of all, I gotta say that there is no time to rest. For me, I'll keep pushing until I just can't push anymore. I'm a determined dude. I like to push hard until I pause on that. By the way, pause. Okay,
No,
I
you
like
good.
I
You
like
good.
I like to
We're
go
not
hard
we're
in
not burning
anything
no
I
fire
do.
for that. Go ahead.
I get no
Fire
fire
for
for
push
that.
hard, boy. Fire for that.
Yo, you really gotta watch what you say on these lies to people. You know, you never know how they're gonna take it. Okay, I'm a determined individual. I don't know when to stop, and sometimes that's my flaw. I don't know when to stop. Right? I keep going, and even though I might fail several times, I know at some point I'm gonna reach my goal and succeed. You understand? Not succeed, succeed. Okay, Trini. So make sure we got that straight.
Bro, fire
And
for all them talk about
exactly.
seed and push
And
hard and
and
all kind of
and the thing
thing.
that keeps me going, guys, I'm gonna tell you the truth. The thing that keeps me going is my family. Everything is based around my family. Everything I do is around my family. Nothing means nothing more to me than my family. I don't care about anything else, honestly. And if I can't keep them happy, and if I can't keep them roofed, housed, closed, fed, then I feel like I've lost. So I haven't lost anything yet. This is just stepping stones that we go through life until we reach that final destination. You understand? In a pine cone box. Until then, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
push as hard as I can to make sure everything flows through and that I can provide for my family. That's the end goal. That's all it means to me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, sir. Devil Dog, I think you already answered for Belt Loop, so we're going to jump. Or unless you have another response, are you good to go?
He's playing this game.
Oh, you play?
Looks like he's lost there, man.
Yeah, I know. He's playing Call of Duty right now.
No, I'm not playing Call of Duty. I'm
Yes,
talking
you
to
are.
my.
Yes,
No,
you are. You're playing Call of Duty, bro.
no, I'm talking to my wife.
You've been caught. You've been caught red-handed, man.
No, my wife's gonna be on the live, and so I was talking to her. I sent her a link, and
Sure,
I'm
you
on
sure.
whatever, Red.
Gary,
Anyways,
Gary, you believe that?
here's my answer. If that's what you were asking, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Once
sir.
I start something, I do not stop. My wife will literally have to tell me, okay, that's enough. Call it for the day or whatever else. Unless it gets too dark or something, I'm working outside. I do not stop until I finish the job.
Yep.
Okay. Now, what I tell you asked what I would tell
advice?
other people. Yeah. And that's a personal decision. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Work or do it until you feel comfortable, or as long as you feel comfortable, and then when you've had that point to where you're getting frustrated, because there's a lot of people that they'll work on a task and it's not going the way they want it to or whatever else, like Sammy, my boss, or whatever else, and he'll get frustrated and stuff. That's a point for him to take a beat, step back and everything else, because then you can mess stuff up more. If you're frustrated and just trying to get something done or whatever else, you can end up making things worse than you did before. So that would be my advice. Work until you feel comfortable, or, as long as you feel comfortable. And when you get to that point to where if something's not going your right way and you're getting frustrated and stuff, then stop, put it down for a while, take a beat, come back at another time, another 10, 15 minutes or another day or whatever, whenever you feel refreshed, and go back at it again. That's my advice.
Trini.
Yo, Wiz.
You heard what the man just said, right?
Go ahead, Trini. It's your turn.
My turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, your turn.
Just repeat
What,
the question for me.
what do you do when you get frustrated, Trini? That's what they want to know.
Okay.
What do you do when you get frustrated?
No, not that, Reds. We're on a live stream, okay? Don't make me cuss, right?
Okay, all right. My bad.
Hey,
Right.
don't forget Trini said when he get frustrated, he cuss a lot of expletives. So we don't
Yeah,
need
so
that
don't
right
let me
now.
cuss.
Well, Double Dog is telling you take a break, take a day off, and go chill out, gather yourself. Right, Gary?
So Trini, I'm gonna ask you the question again. The
Yeah.
question is when is it time to rest versus time to push harder? And what advice would you give to somebody that feels they're losing momentum in life right now?
Well, somebody who's losing momentum, I will tell them, maybe they can take a pause. Maybe they can cook some pork, you know, have something to eat, have a good time, and then start over. As far as pushing,
And I mean, at what point do you say, do you ease up or do you just keep pushing?
I don't think there's.
I lost your volume. I think they demonetize. I think Red spread your demonetization to your microphone too, Trini. Come on. Turn on your microphone. I can't hear you. We can't hear you.
My microphone.
Let me see.
It's on. You hear me?
Still can't hear you, Trini.
I can hear you.
You can hear him?
I can hear you. Say something, Trini.
Yo, Ben Loop.
Yeah, say 29. Say 29.
29.
There we go. It's perfect. I can hear him. I tell you what, I'll translate. He said 29 is awesome. All right, what you want me to tell him?
Okay.
Who said that?
I can't hear him, but
I can
got
hear
you, Trini.
Hear who?
All right, let me see if I can. Goga, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I can hear you. I can hear you too.
I can't.
I can hear Winston. I can hear Winston as well.
I can hear Trini as well.
Give me one second.
No problem.
I can hear everybody.
What happened to Winston?
Yeah, he dropped out to come back.
Okay.
I think that's what
Reds,
he's doing.
did you demonetize Winston's audio?
I was gonna say it's a Belt Loop 29 show.
All right, there we go. I just had to do a refresh. Trini,
Okay, you're back. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, we can.
I just did a refresh. All right, good to go. So what was
Winston, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear Winston again.
You can't hear me?
Trini, he can hear you now.
This reminds me of remember during COVID when we started doing online calls.
I don't think there's like a cutoff point for me, because once you start, going reaching for something, and you get there, you feel the urge to try to reach for something else, because you realize that you stood your ground and you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. So then you want to try something even more dangerous now, So I don't think there's a cutoff point, like to say at this point you reach your capacity and that's it,
Mm-hmm.
I think you just have to keep pushing and accomplish as much as you could.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Goga.
While you have the ability to, because at some point we're gonna not have the ability to do it. So
okay.
Trini wasn't done there.
Yeah,
Winston.
I thought he was done.
He couldn't hear you, Winston, so you're safe. You're good.
Okay. All right. All right, Goga. Thank you, Trini. I appreciate you, brother.
I'm not
He
hearing
can't hear you.
anything Winston.
Somebody tried
Oh,
to
yeah.
make
He said thank you. He said
Already
thank you,
asked
Trini.
Somebody tried All right.
Not Loop, what are you doing back there, man?
Mr. Goga, go ahead, sir.
I was just laughing at Trini and Reds. I don't know, they're so worried about their conversations elsewhere, but anyway, receipts.
Love me, Goga, love me.
Anyway, so the first question, like when do you like realize maybe whether you need to like stop pushing or maybe push a bit harder? I am a big believer in terms of alignment and alignment with why I started something in the first place. And the moment I think the why does not make sense, maybe it's time to pivot and totally change the trajectory of what I need to do. And sometimes it's a very painful decision you have to make, because maybe that is what is going to get the results done, because sometimes you may be doing something and the results are not coming in. A typical example could actually be just like YouTube itself, for example. We keep sometimes doing the same thing and maybe it's not giving the results you want, and maybe just you shift maybe to a different niche altogether, and then you start seeing like some different results. Something as simple as that. I think is how like I align, but I always have to remember why I started something in the first place. And if it aligns with my why, then I know I'm good to go, and I will keep pushing and I will not abandon it midway. Maybe just a need of change of strategy. In terms of somebody who is losing momentum, I'm going to be biblical here, though I'm not very big on church. But I know somewhere in the Bible, in the book of Kings, I think when Elijah had to sleep, I think God had to give Elijah sleep or something like that before he's given his next mission.
Devil Dog's gone, guys.
He's supposed to start, and I'm gonna head out too. Just to hey, it's wonderful to see everybody. God bless y'all, and leave a big footprint. That's all I'm saying.
I appreciate you. I'm still here. Thank you guys for being here. I just wanted to say one more thing before we go. And actually,
Gogo was finishing something. Gogo was finishing his statement.
I know we're going to go over to Devil Dogs Live.
Okay.
Next, I already got the raid set up. So we'll meet Belt Loop and those other guys over there.
Winston, there's a bit of an echo or something.
This is a conversation that needs to be had, and I want to speak directly to the audience as well. If you've been feeling tired, if you've been feeling disappointed, if you're feeling like too many things keep going wrong, if you've been carrying a weight nobody else sees, I want you to know this. You're allowed to feel it. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to admit that it's been hard. But do not confuse a hard season with hopeless life. The season is hard, but hard doesn't mean it's over, right? And even if all you can do right now is take one small step, take that step, right? One call, one prayer. One plan, one repair, one meal, one walk, one application, one conversation, one day at a time. That still counts. Okay, so everybody that's in the chat right now, I want you to type this. Still standing. Everybody that's in the chat right now, type it in the chat. Still standing. And I'm going to play this song for you. Okay, type that in the chat right now. Still standing.
Yeah, man.
Type it in the chat. Still standing.
Tiki Bar family. Tonight we talk real, but we rise stronger. Yeah. Still standing, even when the world shakes.
I don't see the chat right now, so I'm just listening.
One step, one prayer, one move we make. We rise again for our own sake. Still standing through the storm and rain. Turn every loss into strength and gain.
When we need some volume on the song.
We grow, we change. Tiki Bar family, we don't stay the same. Some days rough, yeah, the pressure.
I don't think Win can hear us.
Silent battle, nobody can feel.
You don't think he can hear us?
Smile on
Yeah,
face,
I think he lost his audio or something.
Still we push, cause we know the deal. Things fall down, times get tough. Dream feel far.
No, he can't hear.
But deep inside there's a fighting spirit. Voice say don't quit, you're still in this. Every setback,
he can discuss receipts and the internet unless he replays.
Even when life feel dark and cloudy, you got
lots of receipts here, Win. We got you, bro.
He can't hear us completely.
I don't think he can hear us.
Yeah, like, I will finish what I was saying. To be continued.
Yeah, I wanted to hear what you're gonna finish saying.
He's setting up the raid, I guess, right?
From the rebuild to the comeback glow. From the
I hear a
low
little
point to
slight
the
music,
fire
but I can't
flow.
even make it out.
From the doubt to I told you so.
Auntie,
That's the
Miss
journey that
TikTok, can
we
you
all
hear
know.
us?
One
Maybe
week,
like
one
we are
step,
busy
one
discussing
day at a
receipts. The
time.
wind does not, wind
Rewriting
cannot
pain
hear
into
us, so we
purpose
can
and
carry
rhyme.
on.
Miss TikTok, can
From
you
the
hear
struggle,
us?
now the blessings align. You're still here, so your life still shine. If you're breathing right now, say
She
I'm
not
here.
is she not texting? Miss TikTok, Miss TT, can you hear us?
Miss TikTok says loud. No, what I was going to say was for somebody who's on the verge of losing momentum, I was going to say that even in the Bible, God had to give Elijah some bit of rest, especially in the book of Kings or something.
Yes.
And the rest was not like convenient. The rest was God had to allow Elijah to rest before he's given the next assignment. Sometimes I think when you find yourself losing momentum, just like what Trini said, sometimes you just need to rest. Rest is spiritual sometimes because
Yeah.
it clears your mind and then it helps you get ready for the next mission. That's how I look at it. So never like beat yourself down because you're losing momentum when there's opportunity to get like enough rest, get a clear mind, and that takes you to the next step. Still standing.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta walk away, man.
Yes, family.
Sometimes when you get
So,
frustrated, you
with
gotta
that
walk
being said,
away.
I appreciate you all. It's been a great life.
What happened
Um,
here? Yo, when?
and blessings to all the
When?
people that were on the panel: Goga, Trini, the bad guy himself,
I don't
Reds,
think he knows that he can't hear us.
Belt Loop, and Devil Dog. Thanks for everybody that was in the chat that supported and still
Goga,
standing. All
Goga, take
right.
this
So we're
receipt,
gonna go
okay?
over to
Take this
Devil
receipt.
Dog.
Take this
Type
receipt,
in
Goga.
food for Nam Red. Food for Nam Red. I'm gonna type it in the chat. Food for
Take
Nam
this
Red. I hope you
receipt.
guys enjoy the chat.
Looks
And
like Trini dropped too.
if you feel like the chat's beneficial, we will keep it going. Let me know in the comments later on in the chat if you think it's beneficial, these topics that we have. You can't hear it.
Winstone, we got receipts on you, bro.
But
We
if
got
you can hear
receipts.
me, give me a thumbs up. Anyway, we're gonna go over to Devil Dog. We'll see you guys over there. Okay. Blessings to each and every one, and we'll
All
see
right,
you
Goga,
on the
take care, bro.
next one.
See you, Red. See you tomorrow.
We
Okay,
will see you
thank you,
tomorrow,
Fluffy.
man.
So if you guys think it's beneficial, we will keep doing these chats. If you have any
Because he's not hearing
particular
us
topic
anyway.
that you want to discuss, please let me know. Okay, and you can leave it on the channel. All right, love you guys. We will see you next week. Blessings.